Hello, everybody, and welcome back to video number 33 in this set of videos of a practice run for a lecture I'm giving later this summer in a summer camp for high schoolers on game development. I was just giving it a practice run and editing my lecture notes and decided that instead of deleting the videos after I get the lecture notes edited, I'd go ahead and just share them online. And this video has actually already been shot, but I did it all, uh, updated the attack stuff without looking down at the clock on the screen recorder. And when I finished, it was a 26-minute video. So I decided to split it in half. So reshooting an introduction here. So let's jump back into it and finish up the character attacking our alien. This is video 34 in the series, so there's been a lot going on. Um, Almost seems like too much to describe quickly, but let's jump in and finish the character attacking the alien in this thing. Um, After we do all the movement stuff, we'll check if is hitting is true, and um, our raycast can see an alien there. And that's just like we saw earlier, so we'll need a reference to our raycast. So I'll click, drag that over to the script. So we got that. Um, and what is that raycast going to look at? So alien, we come over to our alien object and check its collision masking. Players on 3, so we can put this on physical layer 4. General, scroll down to 3D physics layers, and we'll make layer 4 the alien. So our alien, we'll put it on layer 4 and mask it on layer 4, which we saw earlier in the previous video. So then our player script, if is hitting is true, and our raycast.getCollider is not null, which that means there is an alien. Is hitting means we just hit the button, and the raycast not being null means there's an alien within 1.2 meters. It's like we shoot a laser pointer straight out, and it's only going to detect stuff if it sees the alien uh, within its range, which is 1.2 meters. So it needs to look, the raycast needs to look at collision mask 4 or physics layer 4 where the aliens are residing. Did I put the alien on 4? Yes. Um, so aliens on 4, the raycast is looking at 4. So if it's not empty, there's an alien 1.2 meters in front of us or less. And is hitting means we just hit the button. So that's when we'll run the animation. Actually, we can run the animation here. And this is where we'll increment the score. And if, so we need this, I'll do the animation first. So we need to refer to our animation tree, which we already have. Animation tree is going to be, some dictionary, and we'll set a value, one of the values to true, which is just like we saw before. We'll come over here, grab the parameter. So when we hit the button, we go to that animation, and afterwards, animation tree sum key equals false. We'll turn it off, and then we'll turn back on our. I'll just go to idle for now. I'll go right back into the idle animation. So is hitting becomes false. Is idle becomes true. Whoops, drug that to the wrong place. Is idle becomes true. So we'll go back to the idle animation, and then from there it'll jump into the earlier controls of going to the walking animation. And then we'll increment our score, which we could do as a single variable, but we saw how to create a variable, and For our example, that's probably all we'll need, but I want to take it a step further. Instead of putting that in a variable for just score, I'm going to make a dictionary. I'm going to make a variable called stats that's a dictionary. That way we can put lots of data in there when we're ready to save it and stuff. So it's probably overkill just putting score in here for now, but it will, for scalability in most games, and even in this one if it goes further, we're probably going to have more than the score. So we're going to have lots of data to keep track of. We want to keep it organized. Dictionaries, if you're, we're based on Python, so a dictionary is going to look a whole lot like JSON. So it's like a lot like dealing with JSON data. Every one of our game engines probably has its own unique format that it can use, but we also have access to all of our standard formats. So stats is a dictionary, or it's we wouldn't call it a programming language if we couldn't set up a hash table or build a binary search tree or any of our normal data structures. So I'm just going to go with basically JSON, but since we're not in JavaScript, we use it's a dictionary. JSON is just one form of a map, and I'll refer to Python. A Python dictionary for holding data. If we just looked at the text making up a Python dictionary and the same thing in JSON, we wouldn't notice any difference until we got to passing functions. But if the dictionary is just holding data, we're not going to be passing functions. So basically creating JSON data here. One of our standard formats, obviously any of our game engines, the programming language we use to script them can work with JSON, as well as any other data format and probably a custom format. But I'm just going to go with JSON data, even though we only have one key for it right now. A score value, which is going to start at 0. And that also makes it a lot easier to save stuff, because then we can just write our entire dictionary to a file and read our entire dictionary back in to save and reload data. So if we push the button, we'll set that Boolean to true and jump to the animation. If that Boolean that says we're hitting things is true, and there's an alien standing within 1.2 meters right in front of us, we'll go ahead and increment our score, deactivate that that parameter. It should run at that. It should start running at that point. We can deactivate it, and then we can increment our score. I'll do that first. So our stats dictionary has a key called score, and we'll increment that by 1. Well, I was writing that out every time instead of abbreviate. We have the abbreviation, but earlier I was writing everything out, so I'll just write it out this time. Plus 1. We'll just increment by 1, and coming up soon, we'll put that on show that on the HUD. So I think we're ready to give this a try. Come over to level 1, give this a run. Again, this video came up a little bit long, so if we hit shift, we go to the hitting animation. Oh, and actually our character is backwards, isn't he? Better fix that. Come over to player, select our mesh, and our controls forward is in the -Z. So I need to grab the mesh, and I'll rotate that around by 180 degrees around the y-axis. Looks like the collider's in the right spot and everything, but now our raycast is in the wrong direction, so the raycast needs to check -1.2. All right. We give this a test. Okay, now we're looking at the back of the character like we should be. Jump, move, still works just like it did. The shift key will hit the aliens. We tested in the last video. Uh-oh, it's not going back. Oh, might as well fix that. Well, same thing I did in the last video. At some point, we need is hitting to go back to false. which can probably work as an else here. Else, this value goes to false. Let's see if that stops hitting. There we go. Only hits one time now. So if we come around here and sneak up behind our alien, because if we go to the front side of the alien, he'll be able to grab us. Oh, I guess we need a way to make sure we hit it. So what I'll do is print the score every time. Then we should be able to see that come out. Give that another run. I think it worked, but we didn't give any indication that it worked. So our score is currently 0. If we run over here and, whoops, not the jump button. Hit the alien. All right, our score went to 105. Probably don't need to hit it over this course of 100 frames. So if this is true, then we want to set is hitting equal to false, because we already detected the hit. And if it's not true, then that means we didn't connect to it. So we'll set else is hitting equals false. So really, I think the only thing new in this video was the dictionary, right? Everything else was stuff we've seen before, just a new combination, and that's kind of did the score come up? Oh, get a little bit closer to him, hit him in the head. So now it's not increasing. So don't want to do it that way. Where we reset the animation, I'll set it here. Oh, I better know what, because in a couple frames of the animation, it already detected that. Is hitting equals false. Whenever you hit a bug, you always want to take it a step further. Don't just fix the bug. Try to figure out why it happened, and that way you can avoid it happening again in the future. If it doesn't work this time, I'll do the pause the video and get the debugging and then be back with the solution. Oh, let's see, our score is 0. We hit the alien once, hit it twice. But it worked once. There we go. Okay, so it looks like that's kind of working. Might need some refinement. I'll try the refinements, but this video is way longer than I meant for it to be. So the only thing new there was a dictionary, and we could have bypassed that altogether. I just wanted to mention that. Instead of a single variable, you're probably going to have lots of data. So keep it organized with a normal data structure. And I'm just going to go with, well, I keep wanting to say JSON. It's technically a dictionary in this case, but I'll probably just keep saying JSON. One of the normal data structure formats is usually your best option. That translates between game engines a lot better than any of the custom formats too. But this video ran a lot longer than I intended it to, so I will see you in the next video.